Hey, how's it going, guys? So I got a DIY project for you. We are going to be making a knife. This time it's not going to be a cheapy built knife like I've done in the past where I took all reclaimed stuff. I've actually purchased some precision ground 01 tool steel. We're going to be using that for the project. I want to make my own micarta. I picked up some Corby bolts and a whole bunch of stuff. But starting today, we're going to get the handle material started. Now I plan on making my handle material out of micarta. I'll show you what I'm planning on making, and I'll bring you in real close and show you what we need for this project. So don't go away. Sorry guys, here's all the stuff we're going to be needing for our micarta project. I am going to be using a jute ribbon for this project. When I bought this, there was a little bit of a wire in there. We're going to have to remove that wire and then cut it into evenly length strips, and here we have it. So I cut them off at 11 inches long. You could do however long you want to do it, but this is how long I've decided to go for it. We're going to need some fiberglass resin or some kind of epoxy that you want to use to glue everything together. I've used this a couple times, works pretty good. It seems to be clear-ish, and but it does darken up your project a little bit. So if you're trying to get your bright colors, this might not be for you, but it'll work in a pinch for me anyway. We're going to need some wax paper to wrap our project up in, so we can keep everything pretty much neat and clean without flying all over the place, making a big mess. So we're going to use this down on the table while we're doing our micarta. Then we're going to wrap up our micarta, and then we're going to have to stick it into a vise. This guy here that you saw me building in the beginning of the video. And we'll go ahead and drop our wrapped up and gooped up project in there. We'll push that down and use a vise, C-clamps in a couple of spots down here, and then we're going to go ahead and measure the very ends to make sure that we got this thing pressed in evenly, so we'll have a nice even micarta all set up, and it'll be uniform and easier to use. I have my hardener here and my mix here. I'm not going to put this in quite yet. I am going to use a paintbrush to dip and paint this stuff on. I don't have any rubber gloves with me, but if you are going to do this, I do recommend wearing glasses and rubber gloves. Don't be cheap like me. So once you got it in there, give it a good stir up. Make sure it's all mixed in well together. Give this just give it a minute, stir it up real well. But once you get going on this, you have to go. There can't be no messing around. You have to get your stuff all done, otherwise it'll start hardening up and cause you problems. Try to stack them on top of each other as neatly as you can. Make sure it's well coated, so when you stick the next one on, it actually starts to get a little wet. That's what you want to see. This way you know that your micarta is getting nice and saturated, and you'll be in business just like that. So I'm going to keep on going, stacking this up, and I'll bring you back just as I'm arriving around the end, and we'll wrap it up and put it into the clamp. So the last piece going on. Go ahead and rub that one in too. Just a little bit of stuff here. Alright, now there's a lot of this resin that's just kind of leaking out the side here now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to just rub it right back in. And we're sliding all over the paper now. It's really goopy and slippy. So, there we go. Move this off to the side. We're going to go ahead and wrap this up and try to keep our hands clean as possible. There we go. Nice and clean. Put a piece of wax paper in there as well. And we'll drop our micarta in. Now, see if you can see that. It really is a perfect fit. Fits in there nicely. And then when we put this guy in there, there we go. Let's clamp her down and get a measurement on it. Now we got it all clamped up. I got a whole bunch of clamps. I actually had to add one more on this side just to make sure, because I was missing the foot on this clamp, so it wasn't really going all the way over like it should. But I added one more clamp, and we're looking pretty good now. We're just about even. When we squeezed this out, a lot of the excess came dumping out the sides, which is basically what we want. That's why I did the center first, to push it out this way towards the ends, and then gave it a couple seconds, and it did its thing. So now that we're all nice and tightly clamped up, we're going to leave this for about let's say 3 hours, 4 hours. We'll come back and check it a little bit later. We'll see how she did. But hopefully everything comes apart nicely. The wax paper should make it nice and easy to slip right out of the vise, and that's it. If somehow we got under and I really glued it shut, well, basically what we'll do is we'll just bash this thing apart or take it apart, and we should be in business. So there you have it, guys. We have our micarta, and we'll take a look at it a little bit later. Sorry guys, while we're waiting for the micarta to dry, I wanted to give you a quick look at this. For all you guys that are out there that are planning on making some knives at home, there are some good choices of steel you could use that are pretty easy to heat treat at home, and O1 Tool Steel is one of them. Now, you'll see here it gives you the chemistry on the package. It tells you the how to harden it. So basically it tells you what temperature to use and that it's an oil quench. For when you get into the tempering part of your heat treat, it'll show you what temperature to use, for how long, and what Rockwell you'll wind up at, which is pretty cool. Now I'm pretty sure that with temperatures varying on people's ovens and stoves and whatever, that this may be 1 or 2 points in either direction. I would imagine maybe more, but at least you're getting your ballpark there. And if you really want to, you could always just have it tested. Now, one other thing I wanted to show you. Many times I've used steels that were used from from salvage materials that are all beaten up, but you can see the finish on this guy. It's really ground nicely. It's straight. The material is good. It's nice and soft. It's been annealed. It's ready to go. So once we start doing our stock removal on this guy, and we're trying to build this guy, we're going to be well on our way. So I do have some Corby bolts I'll be using as pins for this project. It's not just going to be a brass rod cut. These are actually pretty cool for those of you who don't know what they are. Basically, it's a screw that you would put a little bit of epoxy on, and then you'd screw your two pieces together. But you can see it has the size of a hole you're going to drill through your actual blank is going to be this size, and then the other side, which has a little screw on it, is going to be 1/4 inch. So once you put this together and you've glued everything together, you can really crank these down, and then you could sand down quite a bit on either side of it to however thick your handle is going to be. And when all this dries together, it's going to be glued together, screwed together, and then your handle is going to be glued together and screwed together. It's going to be super tough. And so it gives you a mechanical and a chemical bond, which is pretty cool. So I'm going to be putting one on the end and one near the front to lock it down, and then through the center I have a 10mm mosaic pin coming, which I'll show you that as well. And I also have some liners that I want to put on the handle. So I'm really stepping it up a notch on this one. I really want to make a nice knife, and if it's really nice, I think I'll end up making one for my son as well. So there. Sorry, it's been 2 hours now. Let's have a look, see what we got. has managed to stay pretty decently clean. We're a little bit stuck in the end there, but that's not so bad. Let's see how this wax paper comes off. Well, I think that looks pretty good. Alright, so let's go quickly chop off the ends of these, clean them on up, see how it looks. But I think we're pretty good. And our usable space, at least 10 and a half. We should be good. So let's go chop this off and we'll see what the end bit looks like. Sorry guys, got her all sanded up, cleaned up somewhat, but let's see if we can get a little bit of oil on there and see how that jute's gonna pop out. So I'm gonna bring you on down. You'll look at my feet, and you'll see this micarta. Let's have a look at this, see how it comes alive. Hopefully you're picking that up. I think that looks pretty good. So, if you can imagine that with a mosaic pin, two nice brass Corby bolts shining through, with your nice little knife poking out, possibly some white and red liners in between your knife stock and your blade, between your handle stock and your blade. So there you have it guys, looks pretty good I think. Came up pretty nice. Still got a little bit more sanding to do along this edge here, but that's more than enough space for usable micarta, and this came out much better than it did last time. Let's have a look on the side here and see how it looked, how it came out. So pretty uniform in size, which is nice. We're going to sand it down really nice to make sure it's flat. We got a little more sanding down here. Maybe we'll have to cut off maybe like maybe another 1/8 of an inch off there on both sides. But I think that looks pretty damn good, especially for a first attempt. But can't wait to get these onto a knife. It's going to be insane. So there you have it guys. There's our micarta handles for a knife blade. Those are made. So if you ever want to figure out how to make up your own micarta, you can follow these steps. You get a decent product out of these simple tools. But we'll see how it looks like when we get all the pieces in for the rest of this knife. I'm really excited. I can't wait. So next episode, we're gonna start. We're gonna cut off a chunk of that old one, and we're gonna start shaping out the blade, get it drawn on there, and we're gonna go from there. This is gonna be a really fun project, so I hope you guys stick around for the whole thing. Thanks a lot, guys. You guys get out and explore. I'll see you on the next one.
Hey, thanks for watching, guys. If you found this video useful at all, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And if you like these kind of builds, how about checking out the time where I built a knife out of an old saw blade, or the time I built a mock Thanks for watching, guys. Get out and explore.